Stop everything you are doing right now. Because what just leaked on the internet in the last few hours has the entire music industry in complete shock, and nobody, absolutely nobody, saw this coming. Hotel security cameras do not lie. They do not take sides. They do not care about your reputation, your album sales, or your legacy. They just record every single second. And what these cameras captured inside a luxury Los Angeles hotel at 2:47 in the morning is the kind of footage that ends careers, destroys friendships, and breaks the internet in half. Chris Brown and Quavo, two of the biggest names in the entire music industry. Two men who have been circling each other with tension for years. And now, on camera in a hotel hallway with witnesses standing right there, it finally exploded into something that cannot be taken back, cannot be unseen, cannot be denied. We are talking about a physical altercation so brutal that hotel staff immediately called the police. We are talking about a leaked recording that has already been screenshotted and reposted millions of times across every platform. We are talking about insider information that is going to completely flip everything you thought you knew about this situation. But here's the part that is going to keep you watching until the very end. The fight itself? That is not even the most shocking thing that happened that night. What came after, what one of them did in the hours following that altercation, that is what has the entire industry completely silent right now. Stay with me, because this story goes so much deeper than you think. To understand what happened inside that hotel, you need to understand the history first, because this did not come out of nowhere. This beef has been simmering, bubbling, and building pressure for years, like a pipe that was always going to burst. The only question was when and where. Let us start at the beginning. Chris Brown, born in Tappahannock, Virginia, one of the most gifted and naturally talented performers of his entire generation, a man who can sing, dance, produce, and command a stage like very few artists alive on this planet today. His career has been defined by two things running side by side simultaneously: extraordinary musical genius and an almost supernatural ability to attract controversy. From the 2009 Rihanna incident that nearly ended everything before it truly began, to the brawls, the lawsuits, the social media wars that never seemed to stop, Chris Brown has never been far from drama. But through every single storm, he has survived. He has thrived. His Breezy Bowl tour grossed over $100 million. His fan base is not just loyal, they are ferocious. Chris Brown does not just have fans. He has an army. Now Quavo, born Quavius Keate Marshall in Athens, Georgia, 1/3 of the legendary Migos alongside his nephew Offset and his late nephew Takeoff, a man who helped completely reshape the sound of modern hip-hop with a flow that dominated an entire decade of music. But after the devastating loss of Takeoff in November 2022, something changed inside Quavo permanently. People close to him say he came out of that grief harder, sharper, and with significantly less patience for fake relationships and industry politics. A man who has buried his nephew has absolutely zero time for games. On the surface, these two men existed in completely separate lanes. R&B royalty meets trap royalty. Different genres, different worlds, different audiences. But the music industry is a very small place. And small places breed very big tensions. The first public signs that something was wrong between these two camps started surfacing in early 2024. Suspicious unfollows on Instagram, subliminally worded posts that fans immediately began dissecting, a comment liked and then quickly unliked. In the age of social media, silence speaks louder than any diss track ever could. And both Chris Brown and Quavo had become very loud in their silence toward each other. Industry insiders began whispering about three things specifically: a woman connected to both camps, a publishing dispute over a track generating serious money, and a comment, allegedly made by Chris Brown in a private setting about Takeoff, that got back to Quavo through the industry grapevine. The exact words of that comment have never been confirmed publicly, but the damage they allegedly caused was very, very real. All of it. The woman, the money, the comment, the years of quiet tension building underneath the surface was nothing but dry kindling sitting in a room full of gasoline. On the night of March 3rd, 2026, someone finally struck the match. Here is exactly what happened that night. According to 3 separate sources with direct knowledge of the events, all of whom spoke strictly on the condition of anonymity, this is the timeline that the industry does not want you to know about. Chris Brown was in Los Angeles for a private industry listening party on the 14th floor of the Meridian Grand Hotel. Exclusive guest list. Maybe 40 people total. The kind of event where everybody in that room is somebody, and the whole point is to keep whatever happens inside from ever reaching the outside world. Quavo was not on the original guest list. He arrived at approximately 11:45 p.m. with a crew of 4, having been extended a last-minute invitation by a mutual associate who, and this detail is going to matter more than anything else later, allegedly did not inform either Chris Brown or Quavo that the other would be present that night. Whether that was careless or calculated, nobody is saying right now. When Quavo walked through that door and locked eyes with Chris Brown across the room, witnesses say the entire energy of that suite changed in an instant. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Someone turned the music down without being asked. People who had no idea about the history between these 2 men felt it immediately in their chest, that specific kind of tension that tells every instinct in your body that something is very wrong. For the first 90 minutes, both men stayed on opposite sides of the room. Their crews formed invisible walls. People who knew both of them were quietly working the space, making jokes, redirecting conversations, physically positioning themselves between the 2 camps like human buffers. It was fragile, but it was holding. And then, at exactly 1:30 in the morning, everything fell apart. A woman walked into the suite. Her identity has not been confirmed publicly, but multiple sources describe her as someone romantically connected to the tension that had been building between these 2 men for months. And she walked deliberately directly straight to Chris Brown. What happened next unfolded in less than 4 minutes. But those 4 minutes changed absolutely everything. Quavo crossed the room. Not running, not aggressive, not yet. Walking with that specific kind of slow, controlled energy that is somehow 10 times more frightening than pure rage. He said something to Chris Brown directly. A witness standing less than 10 feet away could not hear the exact words over the ambient noise. But they saw Chris Brown's face change completely the moment those words landed. And then Chris said something back. 3 words. Witnesses who claim to have heard it say those 3 words directly reference takeoff. 3 words that should never, under any circumstances, have left his mouth. 3 words that, if the accounts are accurate, were the match that turned dry kindling into a raging fire. Quavo moved first. What the hotel security camera captured over the next 97 seconds has been described by every single person who has allegedly seen the footage as absolutely brutal. The altercation exploded from the suite doorway straight into the 14th floor hallway. Furniture moved. Glass shattered. Members of both crews rushed in, some trying desperately to stop it, others, according to sources, making the decision to join it. By the time hotel security reached that hallway, approximately 4 minutes after the first alarm triggered, the scene looked like a war zone. 2 members of Chris Brown's crew had visible injuries. 1 member of Quavo's camp was being physically restrained against the wall by his own people. And in the middle of all of it, Chris Brown and Quavo being pulled apart by security teams and hotel staff simultaneously. LAPD arrived at 2:52 a.m. No arrests were made. Both parties refused to file reports. Hotel management was placed under immediate pressure by representatives of both camps to ensure the security footage never saw the light of day. But here is the first twist. And it is massive. The footage was already gone. Not because anyone erased it. Not because the hotel destroyed it. But because someone inside that building, someone with direct access to the security system, had already copied every single second of it onto an external device before LAPD even walked through the front doors. And that person had already sent it to 3 different media outlets by 4 a.m. The question burning through every industry group chat right now is not what is on that footage. The question is, who paid that person to leak it? And why? By 6 a.m. on March 4th, 2026, The footage had not yet been published anywhere. But the story was already moving at the speed of sound through industry group chats, private text threads, and back channels that never sleep. By 8 a.m., 3 major celebrity gossip accounts had posted cryptic hints that had their entire followings losing their minds. By 10 a.m., Chris Brown Quavo was trending in 7 countries simultaneously, without a single confirmed report having been published anywhere on the internet. Then DJ Academics went live. He did not play the footage. His legal team had advised him strongly against it. But what he said during those next 21 uninterrupted minutes, speaking with the kind of controlled, deliberate intensity that only comes from someone who genuinely knows exactly what they are talking about, sent shockwaves through every corner of the internet at the exact same time. He leaned into his camera with the expression of a man holding something that could detonate at any second and said, "What I am about to tell you right now is going to change the way you look at both of these men. Not one of them, both of them, permanently." He then revealed the detail that nobody had. The detail that reframed everything. The altercation at the Meridian Grand was not the first time these 2 men had been in a physical confrontation. According to academics, citing sources he declined to identify, there had been a previous incident approximately 8 months earlier. A private villa in Miami during Art Basel weekend. That incident had been completely and thoroughly suppressed. Money had changed hands. NDAs had been signed by multiple parties, and both camps had agreed to a mutual silence that held completely until the night of March 3rd shattered everything beyond repair. The internet stopped breathing for approximately 30 seconds. Then it exploded. A leaked voice note, 41 seconds long, began circulating on Telegram before spreading rapidly to Twitter and Instagram. Platforms began taking it down almost immediately. But by then it had already been heard by hundreds of thousands of people. The voice on the recording, which has not been verified and cannot be confirmed as genuine, speaks with urgent, controlled panic. They need to dead this whole situation right now. Because what is on that camera is not just a fight. There is a conversation on that footage that happened before the first punch was thrown that nobody is ready for. Nobody. If that audio gets released alongside the video, it is over. Not for one of them. For everybody who was in that hallway that night. 41 seconds. And in those 41 seconds, the entire narrative of this story shifted completely on its axis. Because suddenly nobody was asking about the fight anymore. Suddenly, every single person was asking the same question. What was said before the first punch? Chris Brown's team released a statement through his publicist by midnight. 11 words exactly. Cold. Measured. Revealing absolutely nothing. Our client was present. Our client has no further comment at this time. Quavo's team released nothing. Not a word. Not a single emoji. Not one Instagram story. Complete total silence, which in a social media age communicates more than any carefully worded statement ever could. And then a prominent music executive, someone with deep relationships on both sides of this situation, posted a single sentence on his private Instagram before deleting it within minutes. But the screenshot had already spread to every corner of the internet. The person who leaked that footage is not who anyone thinks it is. And their motive has absolutely nothing to do with either of those 2 men. Nothing to do with either of those 2 men. Then who? And why? The internet did not just react to this story. It consumed it, dissected it, rebuilt it, and turned it into a full-scale cultural moment that refused to stay contained to any single platform, any single community, or any single corner of the world. Within hours, Chris Brown Quavo Hotel was trending #1 simultaneously in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Nigeria, Ghana, and Jamaica. 7 countries. At the same time. That global footprint tells you everything you need to know about the cultural reach and the raw star power of both of these men. And then the fan bases went to war. Breezy Nation mobilized with a kind of coordinated speed and ferocity that would make a military strategist genuinely impressed. Within hours, fan accounts had compiled every alleged subliminal, every suspicious unfollow, every sideways comment Quavo had ever directed toward Chris Brown over the past 3 years, packaging it into thread after thread that painted one very clear picture. Quavo walked into that hotel looking for a problem. And he found one. One tweet that immediately went viral and racked up over 800,000 likes read, "Chris was at his event, minding his business. In a room he was invited to. Quavo showed up uninvited and brought chaos with him. That camera is going to show exactly who the aggressor was that night." But hip-hop Twitter fired back just as hard and just as fast. The moment the rumor spread that Chris Brown had allegedly referenced Takeoff in those 3 words before the first punch was thrown, the energy shifted dramatically. A verified hip-hop journalist with over 2 million followers posted what became the defining statement of the entire online debate. If Chris Brown actually said what people are saying he said about Takeoff, then whatever happened in that hallway was not just understandable. It was necessary. You do not speak on the dead, especially not his dead. That single post generated over 40,000 replies in under 6 hours. The debate it sparked was ferocious, deeply emotional, and completely unresolvable, which is precisely the kind of conversation that keeps the entire internet locked in and engaged for days without stopping. Celebrity reactions began carefully trickling in, worded deliberately vague, but impossible to ignore. A major female R&B artist posted a crying laughing emoji followed immediately by a praying hands emoji, then deleted both within 4 minutes. The screenshot had already spread everywhere before she could blink. A veteran rapper with close ties to both camps posted, "Industry is small. People need to remember that. Real ones already know what time it is." Then turned his comments off completely. A prominent producer who has worked extensively with Chris Brown dropped a single red heart emoji on Chris Brown's most recent Instagram post. That one gesture was screenshotted approximately 15,000 times and immediately interpreted as a very public declaration of loyalty. Radio stations across the country began quietly pulling both artists from their playlists. No official statement, no announcement, just a silent precaution while the world waited to see what dropped next. And the streaming numbers told their own story entirely. Both catalogs spiked dramatically within 24 hours as millions of newly interested listeners went searching through the music for context, for clues, for anything that might explain how 2 men who existed in parallel worlds ended up in a hotel hallway at 2:47 in the morning throwing hands while security cameras rolled. The footage still had not been officially released anywhere, which somehow made everybody want it more than anything else in the world. Just when the internet was beginning to settle into its positions, just when the debate had calcified into 2 clear sides and the energy was finally finding its rhythm, everything changed again. In the most unexpected direction nobody was prepared for. At 11:23 p.m. on March 5th, 2026, a verified account belonging to one of the most well-connected celebrity bloggers in the entire industry posted 6 sentences that stopped every conversation happening on every platform simultaneously. "I have seen the footage. All of it, including the parts that have not been discussed anywhere yet. And I need everyone to understand something very clearly. The fight is the least important thing on that recording. There is a 3rd person in that hallway who has not been mentioned in a single report anywhere. And that person's presence changes everything you think you know about why this night happened. A 3rd person in that hallway. Someone who has not been named. Someone who has not appeared in any report. Someone whose presence, according to this source, does not just add a new detail to the story. It completely dismantles the entire narrative from the ground up and rebuilds it into something nobody is currently prepared to process." The internet detonated all over again. Who was the 3rd person? Another artist? Someone connected to the woman who walked into that suite at 1:30 a.m.? Someone from completely outside the music industry with motivations that have nothing to do with fame or music or beef. And then the theory that began spreading through every group chat and DM thread at the exact same speed. The theory that once it entered your mind, you could not shake it no matter how hard you tried. What if this entire night was orchestrated? What if Chris Brown and Quavo did not end up in that hotel by coincidence? What if the mutual associate who invited Quavo without telling either man the other would be present? What if that was not carelessness? What if that was a plan? What if someone wanted these 2 men in the same room at the same time with cameras already rolling? What if the leak was not a betrayal? What if the leak was always the point? A source within the hotel industry speaking to a prominent entertainment reporter said the following words that have been circulating in screenshots ever since. In 15 years of working luxury hospitality in this city, I have never seen security footage move the way this footage has moved. That does not happen by accident. Someone with serious resources made very deliberate decisions about what would be recorded, what would be copied, and exactly when it would surface. Serious resources, deliberate decisions, exact timing. Chris Brown had not posted on social media in over 31 hours at the time this information came through. The longest silence he has maintained in 4 years. Quavo had not been seen publicly since the night of March 3rd. And the footage, the actual recording that started everything, still had not been officially released anywhere. Every account attempting to post it was hit with immediate takedown notices. Legal machinery moving at a speed that suggests people with very serious money are very seriously invested in controlling exactly what the public sees and exactly when they see it. But here is what you need to understand before this video ends. In 2026, nothing stays buried forever. Not footage, not audio, not the identity of a third person standing in a hallway at 2:47 in the morning. Not the real reason two of the biggest names in the entire music industry ended up in that position while the cameras rolled without stopping. One of them is about to break their silence. And when they do, everything changes. Alright, before I go, drop in the comments right now. Who do you think threw the first punch, Chris Brown or Quavo? And who is the third person in that hallway? Because that one detail changes everything, and I want your theories below immediately. If this video gave you information you were not finding anywhere else, hit that like button right now. Subscribe and turn notifications on, because the next update on this story is coming within 48 hours and you do not want to be the last person to know. The footage is dropping soon. Are you ready for it?